Hi, my name is Caitlin Porter from the Mongoose Enablement team. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to navigate and develop within the Mongoose Web Designer in a multi-tenant cloud environment. This video is intended for users that are already familiar with developing within the Smart Client. The purpose of this video is to point out some of the key differences between the Smart Client and the Web Client. It is not intended to be a training video for new users. To access the Web Designer, select the paintbrush icon in the toolbar. The Web Designer will open in a new tab. From here, you can select a form to edit using Form, Definition, Design, or you can open a form using this folder icon on the toolbar. If you want to create a new form, you can access it now from the Runtime Builder. The Runtime Builder will give you access to the new Data Maintenance Wizard as well as the new Form Wizard. To access the Runtime Builder, you can select the new form definition icon from the toolbar, or by selecting Form, Definition, New. To run the new Data Maintenance Wizard, select New Data as the category type and Maintenance as the wizard type. If you wanted to access the new Form Wizard, you would select Classic for the category type and then would select any one of the wizards available. For demo purposes, I'm going to use the new Data Maintenance Wizard. This wizard will walk you through creating the table, IDO, and form all at once. Once the process completes, the form will automatically open in the Web Designer. Now that I have a form open in Web Designer, you will notice the design surface varies slightly from the Smart Client. On the left, the toolbox remains with all the componentries that you're able to choose from. All of the standard Mongoose components are grouped at the top of the toolbox, and any user components can be found grouped towards the bottom of the toolbox. The toolbox can be collapsed or expanded by using the arrow button in the top right corner. On the right, you can still find the Component and Form Properties pane. To switch between form and component, you can use the tabs at the bottom of the panel. If I switch to the Form tab, you will notice all of the standard form properties are the same as in the Smart Client. If I switch over to the Component tab, everything here remains the same as the Smart Client with the exception of the Events section. Any events that you would like to attach to a component can now be added here. The most noticeable difference between the Smart Client and Web Client is the new Details pane. This Details pane includes 5 new areas of functionality: collections, components, event handlers, variables, and a design view size. Any collections attached to a form can now be found in the Collections tab of the Details pane. Here you can use the icons at the bottom of the pane to add or remove collections. To set collection-specific attributes, select on a collection, and the collection properties will display on the right. Here you can access all of the same collection level settings that used to be on the Object tab in the Smart Client. The Object Viewer in the Smart Client allowed the user to select an object in a graphical tree to open for editing. In the Web Designer, this functionality was moved to the Components tab of the Details pane. This tab presents a tree view of all of the components on a form, similar to the Object Viewer in the Smart Client. On this pane, you have search capabilities, which allows you to quickly navigate to a particular component. This display is read-only, but allows you to view selected properties of multiple components all at once. When you select a component in the Components tab, it automatically becomes selected in both the Form Design workspace and in the Component Properties panel. You can also delete components from here using the Delete icon at the bottom of the pane. A list of the events attached to a form can now be located on the Event Handlers tab of the Details pane. This tab displays information about any form event handlers that are defined for a form. The left side of the display is a list of all of the event handlers. Each of these can be expanded to view basic information about the event. The right side of the display shows a more detailed information about the event handler. You can use this right pane to create event handlers and to modify event handler properties and attributes. You can also use the toolbar on the bottom of the pane to add, copy, delete, or reposition event handlers. Variables can now be accessed from the Details pane on the Variables tab. This tab displays information about any variables defined for the application. The variables in this tab are grouped by persistent form, temporary form, persistent global, and temporary global variables. The right side of the display shows more detailed information about a selected variable. You can use this right pane to create variables and to modify variable properties and attributes. The toolbar on the bottom of the pane will allow you to add, copy, or delete variables. The last tab of the Details pane is called the Design View Size. Here, you can alter the size of the form as well as the design view of the form. The ability to change the design view of the form is an exclusive feature of the Web Designer. This feature will allow for a larger surface area to work in while developing in design mode. To change the design surface, change the width and height values and then select the Update button at the bottom. To undo any changes you made to the form size, you can use the Revert Form Definition button. All of the other commonly used items such as component classes, images, scripts, themes, and web user control assets can still be accessed from the Edit menu. When developing in the Web Designer, you still have all the basic functionality to arrange components on your forms. You could still select multiple components by holding the Control-Shift key. You can use the alignment and positioning icons on the toolbar to arrange your components. You can also use the right-click functionality to cut, copy, or to set current selection on different components. You can also use the Ctrl-X, Ctrl-C, and Ctrl-V functions to cut, copy, and paste components on your form. One of the great features of the Web Designer is the ability to view user components in action. In this example, I'm going to change this customer rating field to a user component. I'm going to click on the Soho rating component and draw it on my screen. Here, I'm going to bind it under the data source section to my customer rating field and hit save. Now, when I switch over to runtime mode, I can see my user control in action. Here's my rating component that I added to the form, and as I change the stars, you can see the data changes in the background. Lastly, diagnostics can still be accessed in the web client by selecting View, Diagnostics when a form is in runtime mode. To specify what diagnostics settings you would like to see, open the User Preferences modal from the View menu. If you select Diagnostics from the left menu, you can now see that the different types of diagnostics are grouped into different tabs. All form diagnostics are grouped in the Form tab. All IDO-based diagnostics are grouped into the IDO Collections tab. And all other miscellaneous diagnostics are grouped into the Others tab. To view diagnostics in action, simply select View Diagnostics while a form is in runtime mode. Here you have the basic functionalities such as search and the ability to copy to clipboard. That is all for developing in the Mongoose Web Designer basics. Thank you for watching, and hopefully after this video you feel more confident when it comes to developing in the Mongoose Web Designer.